Hello, welcome to today's lesson on changing chords. My name's Forrest Bailey, and I'm going to help you learn how to move from chord to chord. One of the things that I see in all of my students playing, especially in the beginning, is we're able to memorize the chords, but we're having trouble getting switched between them. So I'm going to show you some easy ways to get started on that. Now, in order to continue with this lesson, you're going to need to know the chords A minor, C major, G major, D major, and E minor. So, one of the things that makes chords connected is most of them are sharing common notes. And when we're on the guitar, we can actually use those common notes to just keep one finger down. So, for example, this is A minor. And when you're on the chord A minor, your second finger, which is on the second fret, that's the note E, and your first finger, which is on the first fret of the second string, that's the note C. Those are going to be the same notes that's in the chord C major. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my third finger, which is on the third string on the second fret, that's the note A, and I need you to move that over to C major. So what I did was I just took that third finger on the second string and I moved it over to the third fret on the A string. Now, what I want you to notice is that the first finger and the second finger actually stay exactly the same place. I'm not picking them up at all. What I'm doing is I'm just letting them move a little bit, but I'm keeping the pressure down on the strings. Now, I'm not clamping down super hard, and another thing that I want to point out real quick is make sure that thumb's in the middle of the back of the neck and it's pointed up, not to the side and not down. Another thing real quick here is make sure that your wrist has a slight bow in it. Don't keep it up like this. That will make chords much harder as well. Okay, so real quick, a review on that. That's A minor. Then we take our third finger and we move just that one to C major. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to change this C major chord and we're going to change it to E minor. Now the notes of C major are C, E, and G. And then we also have a C and another E in this chord shape. Now the E minor chord is E, G, and B. So E, B is the new note that we're introducing. There's another E, G, B, and E. So the note that's common is right here, the second finger, that's on E. So notice what I'm doing is I'm using the second finger as a pivot position. Sometimes I call it a pivot point, to let the other fingers have a guiding post to move around the fretboard. Alright, so that's the next chord shape that we can focus on moving. C major, E minor. Okay, and then the last chord shape that I want to show you, this is really commonly seen in many of your favorite songs as well, is the chord D major, shifting to G major. Now what I've done is I've used my third finger right here, which is on the second fret of the B string, that's the note D, and I'm playing it as a D major chord, just strumming the fourth string starting at D to the top four strings. And I'm going to keep that third finger down, and I use that as the pivot point to get to the G major chord. Okay, so one of the things that I see students do when they're working on changing chords is they'll take a D chord, then they'll reset their hand like this, and then go to G like this, and reset, and then try to do it. That's not the best way to practice. The best way is to try to find the notes that are exactly the same and use them to your advantage. You don't need to pick that third finger up if it's already on the note that you want. Okay, now one other thing that we can do is earlier we played the C major chord. We played D major, then we played G major. Now we can also take these two fingers, that's our second finger, and our first finger, and we're going to move them up one set of strings. So now they're on the A string and the D string, same frets though. Okay, so what we're seeing now is a G chord moving up to a C chord. Now this is specifically a C major add 9, that the note is D. You can just call it a C chord. That's what really matters. Very common chord change, much easier than going D to C. Still very musical. There's D to C, G to C, and then we have G to C. They function the same musically, but one does sound slightly different. This one's the one I would recommend if you're just working on your first beginning chords. You could also switch that to an E minor. Now, this one doesn't have a pivot point. See, you notice my fingers are flipping back and forth there. C major, E minor. Okay, so that one's a little more tricky if you're just getting started with switching on your chords. I hope that helps you. If you need some more information on this or would like to schedule a private lesson with me, my name is Forrest Bailey. You can find me at forrestbaileymusic.com/lessons. Send me a message and I'll help you get started on your way. Hope you're having a great day and happy practicing.